Good morning, children. Children, today we will be starting with a new chapter, transpiration. Right? First of all, we will be discussing how should we define transpiration. And please see that on screen it's written evaporative loss of water from the aerial parts of the plants like stem and leaves. So you have to remember certain things here because this is a very confusing thing. Children in hurry they tend to write evaporative loss of water from the aerial parts of the plant, or they write loss of water from the aerial parts of the plant. So must understand evaporative means you have to specify that the water loss is there and it is in the form of water vapors, right? So either you use the word loss of water in the form of vapors or you write evaporative loss of water. This is the first thing to be kept in mind. Second thing is aerial parts of the plant. So aerial parts of the plant you have to specify particularly very less contribution is there from stem and much transpiration occurs through leaves. So you have to see this, that whenever you are using the word aerial parts of the plant, you have to mention what do you mean by aerial parts like stem and leaves. If you are not writing stem and leaves, you may straight away mention the word stomata, right children, or any other structure. But must understand the transpiration for the definition because it is really important. Just missing these keywords would lead to loss in the marks. Evaporative loss of water from the aerial parts of the plants like stem and leaves, right? You may add up, you may make it more perfect if you write uh, evaporative loss of water from the aerial parts of the plants like stem and leaves through stomata. So this will be more nearer to perfection, but this is optional. Otherwise you just remember whatever I have told you, right children? Then you have to understand your chapter includes the types of transpiration. This classification is done on the basis of the structure through which water loss is occurring. So if this transpiration is occurring through stomata, you will be calling it stomatal transpiration. If the transpiration is occurring across the cuticle, you'll call it cuticular transpiration, and if it is occurring through lenticels, you will be calling it lenticular transpiration. So that means whenever you have to define these three, just understand that you have to mention the name of the structure through which transpiration is occurring. Right children, I hope that I have made myself clear here. Just to be more clearer with respect to stomata, cuticle and lenticels, because though these words might be familiar, but just to tell you the location and the proper structure, how they appear, I will proceed slightly further. Now here you can see the three structures very clearly. The first one is stomata, second one is lenticel, and third one is cuticle. Children, whatever I'm going to say now, please pen it down somewhere or just note it very seriously somewhere, because this is something where students make mistake till the last, right? So whatever you are watching under stomata, these are the two guard cells. I have labeled the diagram. You can take care of the labelings later on. There are the two guard cells. These are the turgid guard cells. We have already spoken about the turgidity and the flaccidity. So when the guard cells, they are kidney shaped. When they are turgid, the stoma, the opening in the center is open, right? And if they turn flaccid, obviously this opening will not be there. So flaccid guard cells are not open. Turgid guard cells, they always have this opening, right? The whole structure, the two guard cells surrounding the stoma, the whole structure is known as stomata, right children? You can see that the guard cells have an outer thinner wall and an inner thicker wall, right? and then the chloroplast and nucleus are also there. This is how you draw stomata properly along with the guard cells. If ever it comes for drawing, even then now you know that how the stomata has to be drawn. Apart from this, if you can see the bottom line, now this is going to be the master stroke. Why? Because many a times the question, you know that in your paper there are certain questions which ask for location and function. So whenever you are asked for function of stomata, you used to write the gaseous exchange, maybe exchange of O2 and CO2, or the process of transpiration or the process of respiration, but gaseous exchange is occurring. So this is the function of stomata, right? When you are asked the function of guard cells, then you say guard cells control the opening and closing of stomata, because if they are turgid, they allow the stomata to be open. If they are flaccid, they will not allow it to be open, it will turn closed, right? And the master stroke, come back to that. What is the location of stomata? In that case, must believe that in a plant maximum stomata are present in leaf, and in leaf to the lower epidermis. That means if the leaf has two layers, the upper epidermis and the lower epidermis, right? So in that case, the lower epidermis has maximum of stomata. So the best answer that could be possible here is the lower epidermis of leaf. Apart from this, children, I would like to highlight one more thing here, that whenever you are going to answer a question which is demanding location, always draw the diagram along with a labeled diagram, not a very beautiful one, just a rough hand, but at least to tell the examiner that you have the idea about this structure, right? So whenever you are going to attempt this question based on location, you will always be drawing the diagram along with. So I guess now it's not very much difficult for you. If ever the diagram of guard cell or stomata is asked, you will draw this. And if ever the location of stomata or guard cell is asked, so you will write, for stomata you will write lower epidermis of leaf, and when guard cells are asked, you have to use your mind there. Guard cells, for guard cells you will write that they surround the stomata on the lower epidermis of leaf. Guard cells surround the stomata on the lower epidermis of leaf. Right, children? So these are the openings through which gases can be exchanged or through which water vapors can be released out into the atmosphere. So first structure that allows transpiration is stomata. Now come to the second one. For this particular category, you will write that the transpiration type is stomatal transpiration. The other one would be lenticular transpiration. Now what are lenticels? Again, mark the words. You can see that I have drawn the stem of the plant. It's not a very fresh green one. It seems to be a mature old plant, woody plant, whose bark just try to come out. You can pull it off by using your nail or something like that. Old plants, old trees, they do have such bark which is proliferating out. Why the bark proliferates out? Because the cells behind this, they tend to be loosely packed. You can see that there are intercellular spaces in between. Right, so the cells become loosely packed, and since they are loosely packed, there is a space to get out of the tree. So the moment you have the space from where the escape can be done, these loosely packed arrangement of cells are known as lenticels. And lenticels, where they are located, this is also a very important question. Where they are located? In the bark of old woody stem. Please see to this very carefully, because since we are not interacting face to face, you probably I might not be expressing it that how serious the question is, but please understand that both the things, stomata and lenticels and cuticle, they all are important with respect to their function and location. Right, children? The third one here is cuticle. I have drawn a leaf here. Obviously, I cannot make it a glazed one. I can only tell you that whenever you see a leaf which is a flat leaf, its lower side is not very shiny, but the upper side is always darker green and shiny. Now, this shine comes from a protective layer which is transparent protective layer. It's a waxy coat over the leaf. You can see I have written here, it's a waxy coat over the leaf surface, and this is known as cuticle. Usually it is protective. It doesn't allow much of water loss. But in case the heat is scorching, the sun is having very extreme intensity of sunlight, in that case even the cuticle is not able to protect, and there is a forceful transpiration. The sunlight, it goes across the cuticle and reaches the epidermal cells, so the protective coat is useless at that time. Right, children? I hope I have made this clear. The definition of transpiration, what are the keywords you have to look for, then types of transpiration, how you have to answer the questions based on location and functions for both all these three structures, the stomata, the lenticels and cuticle, and how you have to draw them and how you have to write their location. I hope, children, this much is clear to you. If you have any queries regarding this video, just send me a message. I'll answer your questions. The rest of the contents we will be doing in next video. Thank you.